With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Rachel Johnson on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
8:20. I'll get to your calls on whether you think the Tories should get into bed with reform, if reform will have them, in a moment. I can see them coming in. It's just been announced that Donald Trump says he will meet our Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, in the White House in coming weeks, which means we've got to get Simon Marks to join us to tell us what will be on the agenda. He's our LBC Washington correspondent. Simon, thank you. I heard your very, very good American week earlier. It's a long shift for you, I know, but this news has come in. Was this on the agenda?
Every day is like a week, Rachel. Well, we obviously knew that there was a meeting in the pipeline, but Donald Trump in the White House, in the Oval Office, has just disclosed to reporters that Keir Starmer will be here in Washington for a White House meeting with him, either next week or the week after. He told reporters that the meeting with the Prime Minister was at the Prime Minister's request.
I bet it was.
Not his. But he also made the point that he had met Keir Starmer twice already. He said, we get along very well, described Keir Starmer as a very nice guy. We haven't yet seen the full exchange on this because Donald Trump has been signing some executive orders, as he now does every single day at the White House.
What's he been signing this time, Simon?
Today was an executive order. I now forget. It was nothing of any great consequence.
Not as big as plastic straws.
He's been banning COVID-19 vaccine mandates in schools. I believe that was one of them, and the other one was of the plastic straw variety. Can't remember what it was.
RFK Jr. will be thrilled with that one about COVID mandates in schools. Yeah.
But of course, what happens when he's signing these executive orders is that reporters get to pepper him with questions about anything they like. And so he was asked if there were any updates on a meeting with the Prime Minister, and he has confirmed that this meeting is going to take place. He said not at his instigation, but at the Prime Minister's instigation. And of course, the stage will be set for what is going to be now an extremely complicated conversation between these two leaders, because even before Keir Starmer departs London and heads to Washington, D.C., and who knows what's going to happen between now and then, we already know that Donald Trump has unveiled his plans for the Gaza Strip to become a piece of American territory. We know that he has unveiled his plans to broker peace negotiations between the Russians and the Ukrainians, which many observers, including a growing number of Republicans on Capitol Hill, fear is being tilted deliberately in Russia's direction by the president. They've obviously also got the thorny issue of tariffs to discuss after President Trump announced reciprocal tariffs are going to come into force here soon. He's basically given the country's trading partners until March to try and avoid those reciprocal tariffs. So that's going to be issue number one for the Prime Minister, including, of course, the tariffs already unveiled here against steel and aluminium exports from the UK and other countries into the United States. And the other issue on the agenda, as you will have heard in American Week, is now the Chagos Islands, because Republicans up on Capitol Hill are now expressing fury with the Prime Minister's stalled plans to hand the Chagos Islands in the Indian Ocean over to Mauritian control. So an enormous amount on that agenda, but we now know, while we don't know the precise timing for this meeting, we know it's happening in Washington at the White House in a couple of weeks' time, maybe next week, maybe the week after. And obviously it is going to be a very high-stakes meeting with unpredictable outcomes for the Prime Minister and a big moment for his new ambassador here, Peter Mandelson.
And also a big moment for our former colleague, David Lammy. Do you think, will he be accompanying the Prime Minister as Foreign Secretary to the White House?
Well, I think one would have to assume that he would. And it must have been today a very challenging day for David Lammy, because he, of course, engaged in outreach a year ago at the Munich Security Conference to the man who is now the Vice President of the United States, then Senator J.D. Vance. And that was the really big moment when David Lammy started securing access to Trump World, and at the time came back from Munich saying that, he thought that there were ways of working together with the Trump team, and saw J.D. Vance as being his opening to Trump World. Well, if you heard that speech by J.D. Vance in Munich today, flaying the UK, flaying
for
Europe.
its woke illiberalism.
Well, I mean, and it's just the notion of an American vice president under current circumstances accusing Europe of backsliding on democracy
and freedom of speech.
And freedom of speech.
Did he say democracy, or was it just freedom of speech?
Well, it was the implication was that it was backsliding on democracy.
Okay.
But talk about freedom of speech.
I think it was. Do you know what? I think that's what the shrinks call deflection.
Yes, but in the last hour, we've heard from the White House that they are formally banning the Associated Press. Indeed, an Associated Press reporter today was refused permission to get on board Air Force One, even though she was the wire pull reporter, because, of course, the AP is refusing to call the Gulf of Mexico
the Gulf of America.
So,
Goodness me.
where
Caroline
do you go?
Leavitt did say that, you're here by invitation to the White House press corps, didn't she? And so one strike and you're out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that they want legacy media like the AP there. They want the right-leaning news organisations like Breitbart, like One American News, like Steve Bannon's outfit.
By
Those
the
are
way,
the people they want.
Just between us and the Gatepost, when I was in Washington and my husband was bureau chief in DC under Clinton, he was banned from the White House. He never got his accreditation because Clinton was so cross with the previous incumbent, who was Ambrose Evans Pritchard, for writing all those stories, that we don't need to go into, those kind of conspiracy theory stories about Hillary and the people who died in Rock Creek Park and so on and so forth. So my husband never got into the White House lobby briefing once.
Well, you should come back over.
I know. I would love to. Simon Marks, it's always great to have you on. Thank you.